Galamera, 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 or as they'd say in England, good morning, good morning, good morning. So as you can see, we're finally here. We have made it to the United Kingdom, and what a journey it was. At the moment, we're at Jane's mum. Jane's mum's in Leek, North Staffordshire, where I have to do the start of 5 days quarantine, as it were. We did our test this morning in the kitchen. Can I say, I have never ever done a test that was so uncomfortable in all my life. And I've been testing, as you know, a lot over the last few months. And having to test yourself the way that they want you to do it here, can I just say, the most uncomfortable, the most annoying and gag-wrenching spectacle that I wish I'd videoed it. You'd have had a good laugh this morning. But anyway, that's where we are. A rather cloudy and grim looking day in Leek, but it's good to be here after our journey to get here. And thanks to all those people that are coming online already. Big shout out to Barry Baxter. I know you're moving over to the United States. Best of luck with that fella. Also, Alf Ling is tuning in as well. Right, okay, let me just quickly switch the screen round, and I'm going to now sit in my little spot now and give you some of the news. Just to let you know, Amanda Gregory says, hello, Ginge, dry and sunny here, although a cold wind. Oh, bless you. So thank you for that, Amanda. I forgot about your weather forecast this morning because I've been going through the stats and the numbers in Greece while we were away. Just to tell you something about our journey, honestly, I've never known such a fraught trip to the UK in all my life. Just the hassle of the paperwork, making sure you've got the correct tests. Again, the flight, to be honest, from Zakynthos was virtually full, and I've never ever been on a flight out of Zakynthos on the little hopper and seen it so full. It was packed, actually, with people obviously all in the same frame of mind, all wanting to get away. Anyway, we flew out from beautiful weather in Greece, got up to Athens. It was grim. Let's just say that Athens was grim, overcast, dull. We then only had to wait about an hour or so just to get our flight to the UK. Anyway, we got on the flight to go to the UK, and the aircraft broke down. And so we were sat on board the aircraft for about 2.5 hours, maybe a bit longer, while they tried to fix it. There was a problem with one of the engines on startup and a certain valve wouldn't shut. They even decided to see if they could overcompensate that just by bringing a Bowser in, refueling the aircraft, see if that might have fixed the fault. And we were very, very close to not actually getting off the ground. But eventually, after the engineers had been in and out and poked about and hit things with hammers, basically, they then decided that they were going to fly back. In fact, they were even getting an aircraft ready to come over from Luton to pick us up if this aircraft that we were on didn't get to fly. But at the end of the day, we got to fly. We landed at Manchester. Can I say that going through immigration at Manchester, again, I've never seen it so busy going through there. Unlike my last visit to the UK over a year ago in October, when I flew into Gatwick, where you were virtually frog marched from the aircraft to immigration. There was nobody there at immigration. It was literally, you were inspected by the police and you were allowed, through to immigration, being checked and then let out the other end. But the airport was empty. It was the opposite at Manchester. It was very, very busy at immigration. And as always, with my passport, I never get through on the machine. I always have to see an immigration officer. So I saw an immigration officer who asked me what I was doing here, where had I come from, what my intentions of my visit were. Which kind of startled me, because normally they look at your passport and go, okay, yeah, you look like the picture, on you go. But it was like a bit of an interrogation before they finally let me through. Jane was just swam through, but they obviously didn't let me go through as easy. But anyway, I'm back. We started today, obviously, on our quarantine. I will not be allowed out until next Monday. And then I go for another test on that Monday to a laboratory in Newcastle upon Lyme. And on the, hopefully, the test will be negative, and then that's after that I'm actually free to come and go as I feel. So that's basically it in a nutshell of the journey over. I did try to upload photographs and pictures of the journey, but for some reason they just didn't upload at all. So again, I'll put something up anyway a little bit later on. Anyway, just a quick look at the stats in Greece at the moment, because things have been going on. On my last broadcast, I said that there'd been 3,225 new infections. Yesterday, or the day on the 14th, there was 5,736. And this morning I can report new infections in Greece at the moment are 4,801. Can I also now confirm that there's been 10 Omicron cases confirmed in Greece? Yes, 10, that's all. That brings the total now of COVID cases to 1,017,455 since the pandemic started. All right, there were 12 new cases detected on entries into the country, which was up on the day before where there had been 7 cases detected. Just the stats on the islands at the moment. I've just sat this morning looking at the islands and seeing how pandemic numbers have gone up on there. Interestingly then, Lefkada at the moment, my last broadcast I said it had 7. The following day it had 9, and then within the last 24 hours they've had 3 new cases, so they are still in the green. As for Corfu, again, their stats are a little bit, their stats are actually down, well, up and down. 50 on the day before yesterday, 68 yesterday, and now I can report 59 new cases on Corfu, who are in the dark red. As for Kefalonia at the moment, quite interesting with their stats, again, up and down. 4 on the last broadcast, 11 yesterday and 5 today. So again, their figures are up and down also. When it comes to Zakynthos at the moment, interestingly enough, our figures are actually, again, up and down. We had 4 on my last broadcast I did, 7 yesterday, and today I can report 5 new cases have been detected on the island. Whether any of those are Omicron cases, that is not known. But at the moment, as it stands in Greece, they've had 10 cases officially confirmed of Omicron. Right, when it comes to deaths at the moment, you probably would have all heard Greece had the highest amount of deaths since the pandemic started. That was yesterday. 130 deaths were reported across the country, which was absolutely incredible. Okay, when you looked at the numbers before at 90 and then 72 and then 103 and 81, 130 deaths in one day is a massive spike. So once again, our condolences to those families that are affected. As for deaths at the moment, the number stands at 77. So once again, our condolences to those families that are affected. That brings the death rate now to 19,248 since the pandemic started last year. When it comes to ICU beds at the moment, interestingly there, the numbers have actually started to drop, all right? On my previous broadcast that I did live, it was 705. It then went up to 708. And within the last 24 hours, critical cases now is 683. So the numbers in the ICUs have actually dropped again. Now, of those critical cases, 683, 412 of those are male, 271 of those are female, and the average age of those people is about 64 years of age, and 80% actually have underlying health conditions or are over the age of 70. Now, regarding those critical patients' vaccination status, at the moment, 553 of them, they were unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, and again, 130 of them were fully vaccinated. So that's the status at the moment. Now, at the moment, just a quick snapshot of what's going on in the UK at the moment. And at the moment, I've got to be honest, within the last 24 hours, absolute craziness been going on, especially now that Boris Johnson managed to get his mandate through for his Plan B, where he had to rely on Labour to actually push it through the House. First time I've ever known a Conservative government having to rely on the opposition to push something through. I was very surprised that those Labour MPs, of which 6 voted against it, two, shall we say, controversial characters who I think saw some sense into not mandating what was wanted with the Plan B, was Jeremy Corbyn and Diane Abbott. So I've got to take my hat off to those two for actually having a bit of common sense and looking at what's going on and realising, listen, you can't live life through lockdowns, through everything else, and actually voted against the government. Of course, Boris had 100 of his own backbenchers voting against him. Again, he's on very shaky ground as far as keeping his government going with him in charge. And who's to say that maybe in the new year we might be looking at a changing government and maybe the Chancellor might be ready to jump into his shoes. But anyway, that's the way things are at the moment. Just to let you know that, just again, the quick snapshot of this morning, people are entering self-imposed lockdown. Trust me, mine's not self-imposed. I have to be locked down along with Jane. And they're going to be, people are supposedly avoiding lockdowns and isolation until the 25th if they test positive. All right. The Chief Medical Officer, Chris Whitty, told people to pick the events they attend this Christmas carefully. All right. Yesterday's cases elapsed to the previous highest count by 10,000 when 68,053 were recorded in January. The government modelling predicts 400,000 people catching Omicron daily, spreading faster than tests can keep up. So again, this morning, we posted our tests off this morning with a priority. Well, in fact, Jane saw the postman passing and basically handed in the tests and he took them. So that was good. So again, the tests are away. So let's hopefully there's no problems for either of us and we can get out. Anyway, as I said before, Boris faces growing pressures from his own advisors to hit the panic button to Plan C to curb new variants. Again, I really don't want to see a Plan C. And again, I was really hoping, because Jane and I were watching some of the House just before we flew out, of the debate in the Parliament about mandatory vaccination, which I do not want mandatory vaccination, as you know. Yes, your choice to have it, your choice whether you have the injection or not, that is up to you. But mandatory, I was hoping that they weren't going to mandatorily insist that NHS workers were going to be vaccinated, and that might cause a bit of a stir of conscience with Greece, where already the NHS staff who are not vaccinated were fired from their jobs, etc. And I thought if Britain had gone the way of, no, we'll leave it to the choice of the healthcare professionals, because remember, they're healthcare professionals. They know more about it than you and me do. And if a certain amount of them don't want the vaccine, then that should be their choice. But then to be held hostage that you will lose your job over it, I think is fundamentally wrong, and it's a degradation of your own rights that you have. And at the moment, all you can see is more rights being taken away and more powers, emergency powers for your own benefit, being thrown in. But anyway, I was hoping that if the vote didn't go for mandatory vaccination of healthcare workers, it might prick a bit of conscience with Greece, and maybe they might start to change their tack, especially as they're finding it difficult to find people to actually fill the jobs after they've been fired. And also think about those people at Christmas and everything else. Those people quite happily work surrounded by other people that had been jabbed. They had worked with people who had COVID. Some of them never caught it. And again, it's a case of it was their choice whether they had it or not. It was never revealed, actually, in the figures how many of those people that were unvaccinated working in the Greek system actually did catch COVID. If anybody knows, let me know. I'd be curious to see what the figures for that was like. But at the end of the day, it should be their choice to have it or not. And again, why aren't they investigating them more detailedly as to why their metabolisms weren't contracting it, as maybe a way of people avoiding it, and those people only having the jab if they require the jab and not forcibly having it. Anyway, that's just a little thought for the day there. Right, when it comes to the news then, Greek news, again, Mitsotakis, the Greek Prime Minister, hasn't ruled out the prospect of fresh restrictions to curb the spread of COVID-19 driven by the highly categorized Omicron variant ahead of the holiday season. So he's on the same platform as what the British government is on at the moment. Anyway, responding to journalists' questions ahead of a meeting of the EU leaders in Brussels, which is happening today, Mitsotakis said he was worried about the Omicron data. The only response to Omicron, he said, is to accelerate the vaccination program. Yeah, that seems to be the rhetoric from everybody. Anyway, which we are doing by making the booster dose available earlier. Anyway, he also said, if we need to take additional measures and carry out more tests, this will happen over Christmas in order to buy more time and protect the population by administering the booster shot. That is exactly what Boris is doing at the moment here. So they're all hand in hand with each other, basically. Anyway, as I've said before, Greece has only had, up until Wednesday, it has only logged 10 cases of the Omicron variant, actually in the country. So again, why all this rush to vaccinate? Right. Also, as well, European Commissioner President Ursula von der Leyen has stated that due to the rapid increase in cases of the Omicron variant, it is expected to be the dominant strain in Europe by mid-January. Also, Greece has confirmed, as I've already said, the record number of deaths from COVID yesterday, the vast majority of those being unvaccinated. Government experts are calling on those who have not been inoculated to make an appointment, not only for their own well-being, but also for the sake of the National Health Service. Right, okay, we've heard that story before. Also, as well, the World Health Organization has warned that the Omicron variant of COVID is spreading at an unprecedented rate around the world, with 77 countries already reporting cases, but it's likely in many more. Ahead of the WHO, the head of the WHO, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, I think that's how you pronounce that, is deeply concerned that governments are not doing enough to address the threat. Not enough? Stating, surely we have learned by now that we underestimate this virus at our peril, even if Omicron does not cause severe disease. Hang on. The sheer number of cases could once again overwhelm unprepared health systems. Well, I know two countries that are kicking the ass out of it at the moment, the UK and Greece. So they're Mr. Man at the World Health Organization had him all checked from the Chinese lately. But anyway, also as well, as of today, just to let you know, here in the UK, the COVID passport or proof of a negative test will be required from today to enter nightclubs or venues with large gatherings. So there you go, get your passport out. And also as well, in regards to America, COVID deaths in the US now have exceeded 800,000. It's the highest rate of any country, while recording 50 million confirmed cases of the virus to date. More deaths during 2021 have been amongst the unvaccinated and the elderly. Well, there you go. That's America for you as well. So it looks like everybody's been struck by it. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you to all those people that are tuning in. I'm going to continue with the podcast. Can I just remind you that today in Zakynthos, they're getting ready for tomorrow, which is St. Dennis's Day. So once again, if you hear lots of bangs and thuds and explosions and stuff like that, it's just them taking St. Dennis out for his Christmas birthday, as it were, because he has two, like the Queen, one in the summer, one in the winter. And so have a happy St. Dennis's Day, and I will speak to you again soon. And once again, thank you for all the comments, and I'll get some pictures up of our little trip over. And those people that are coming over, yes, it's fraught. We were so close to cancelling. I think we must have rethought our plans, God knows how many times, and everything that's going on. Amanda says we had the gunfire at 11 a.m. Yeah, of course, you're 2 hours you're 2 hours ahead of me at the moment. So again, have a great St. Dennis's Day. And thank you again to all those people for the birthday greetings as well. Greatly appreciated those. I was overwhelmed. If I didn't reply to you, I apologise. I had that many that it was very difficult to keep up with them all. And thank you to Amanda Gregory for coming out on that night as well, and for your pictures of the little party that we had for those people that could make it. All right. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll keep my ear to the ground and my eyes open for what's happening in Greece while we're away, and also just about what's going on in general. Anyway, you take care, and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.